Hi yogis, thanks for joining me. I'm Alexandra and I'm going to be guiding you through today's yoga flow. The way we practice yoga and the way we are off the mat is much the same. We tend to rush through our lives running from one goal to the next, from one place to the next. So for today's practice, I invite you to move with purpose and focus, to really enjoy those little moments and to transition consciously so that we can begin to see how much more of the journey there is to life. If you have a block, feel free to grab one. We are coming into a half moon. If you don't have a block, you can always find a book or something else to support you, but you don't need it if you don't have anything. We'll begin today's practice coming to a comfortable seated position. You can be sitting cross-legged as I am. You can be sat on a block, a bolster. You can even be in a comfortable kneeling position. And then when you're there, the invitation is to close the eyes. And draw the awareness inside. To take a moment to let go of the day, the week you've had, and the days and weeks yet to come. To give yourself this space and time to be fully present. Then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to the belly. Begin to observe the breath moving through the body. Sensing the sensation of the body rising and falling against the palms of the hand. And then in your own time, begin to deepen that breath. So you can feel the belly expanding and deflating. Bringing your full awareness and attention to this breath. Letting your breath be conscious. And taking one final round of breath. And then blink open the eyes. Make your way into your tabletop position. So bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees under the hips. The toes can be untucked or tucked, whatever your preference for today. And then think about spreading the fingertips as wide as you can, really grounding down through the pads of the fingers, the palm. And as you inhale, lower the belly, lift the chest, gazing forwards. As you exhale, tuck the navel in towards the spine, push the mat away as you find your cat. Inhale, belly softens, heart lifts. And exhale, rounding through the body, pushing the mat away. Take one more, moving with your breath, seeing if you can feel each individual movement throughout the spine. Come to find your neutral spine, Tuck the toes under. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, push the hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. And if this is your first down dog of the day, maybe you'd like to take a few movements, getting into the body, walking out the dog, bending one leg, bending the other, shaking the head, nodding the head, just allowing yourself to really feel into the body where there's any tensions, discomforts, aches and pains. And slowly, really feeling each individual step, mindfully begin to tippy-toe yourself towards the top of the mat. Again, this practice is all about moving slowly, moving consciously. There's no rush, no hurry. There's no destination to get to. Enjoy the journey. At the top of the mat, soften the knees, take hold of opposite elbows, and sway the body from side to side. Again, another opportunity to feel into the back of the body. Let the head and the neck relax. Release the hands down to the mat. And then imagine that the room is filled with honey or treacle. And you're slowly resisting as you roll the body up, stacking one vertebra on top of the other. So how slowly can you move through this transition? Letting the head, the neck come last. Really nice. When you reach the top, draw the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale down the back. One more time. Shoulders rise on an inhale. And exhale, draw them down the back. Heel toe your feet to touch, so the big toes are touching. There's a little bit of a gap between the heels. And bring your hands together at heart center. And begin to sway the body side to side, forwards and backwards, finding that center point in the body. And then come to a moment of stillness. As you inhale, reach the arms overhead. Gaze at the space between the thumbs. For the full length of the exhale, folding down, bend in half. Bringing the hands to the mat, tucking the chin to the chest. For the full length of the inhale, finding the flat back. Bring the hands to the shins. As you exhale, folding maybe a little bit deeper. Inhale, we sweep the arms overhead, look to the thumbs. And exhale, hands to heart center. If you like, you can take this next round with your eyes closed, really giving you that opportunity to feel the sensations in the body. So inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hinging from the hips, we fold forwards. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, hands to shins. And exhale, folding all the way back down. Inhale, strong through the legs, strong through the core, we rise. And exhale, hands to heart center. Adding on, inhale. And exhale, folding, Uttanasana, soften the knees. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step the right foot back. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toes. And then engaging through the outer hips and the core, as you inhale, slowly sweep the arms forwards and up, coming into your low crescent lunge. You can keep the arms shoulder width distance apart, or you can bring the palms to touch overhead. And then think about lengthening the tailbone down as you draw the navel in towards the spine. We're drawing the right hip forwards and the left hip back. And that little bit of a movement allows us to sink deeper into that stretch. As you exhale, bring the hands to frame the left foot. Tuck the back toes under, pick up the back knee, and step the left foot to meet the right, coming into a high plank. Just as we did in our tabletop position, really think about pushing the mat away with the hands, so we're doming through the upper back. If this is too much, always feel free to lower the knees. Otherwise, we're going to stay here for 3 breaths, really building a little bit of fire and strength in the body. Inhaling, exhaling 2, inhaling, exhaling 3. Amazing. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lower the knees if you haven't already done so. Lower the body all the way down to the mat. Keep the elbows hugged into the midline. And then pressing down through the toes. As you inhale, find that baby cobra. And the elbows are pulling down towards the back of the mat. Exhale, finding your child's pose. Sink your hips over the heels. And rest is integral to our health and well-being. So any moment that you need to find rest, to reconnect with your breath or find stillness, know that you can come here as often as you like. You can spend the entire practice here if you wish. There's no judgment. There's no competition. Inhale, slowly shifting to your tabletop. Tuck the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. So beginning now to think a little bit more about the foundations, the setup of our down dog. Spreading those fingers as wide as you can, pressing down through the finger pads. Spiral the outer armpits towards one another so you're broadening across the upper back. Draw the navel in towards the spine as you send the tailbone up to the sky. Then energize the heels down towards the mat. As you inhale, float that right leg to the sky. And slowly, as you exhale, bring the shoulders over the wrist and step that right foot between the hands. Lower the left knee down this time, untuck the toes, engaging through the legs. As you inhale, float the arms overhead, finding your low lunge. So this time we're bringing the left hip forward, the right hip back. And then soften the shoulders away from the ears. And find a sense of ease in the face. Exhale, frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes under, step to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, left foot steps to the back of the mat. Lower the knee down, untuck the toes. Pressing down through the feet and the legs. Find your low crescent lunge as you sweep the arms overhead. And noticing how every time we arrive in a posture feels a little different. A new moment, a new breath, a new sensation to explore. Exhale, hands to mat. Step the right foot to the back of the mat, finding that high plank. So again, option to lower the knees here if you need, as we hold a second round for 3 breaths. Inhaling. Exhaling 1. Inhaling. Exhaling 2. Inhaling. Exhaling 3. Amazing work. As you exhale, lower the knees, untuck the toes. Shift the weight forward and lower the body in one straight line. Inhale, finding that baby cobra, everything drawing into the midline. And exhale, this time straight back to your downward facing dog. And think about spiraling the inner thighs towards one another. And then if you look between the feet, you want the heels to be hidden so they're slightly turned outwards. And then relax the head and the neck. And breathe. Again, noticing how this posture, every time we arrive, feels a little bit different. Inhale, float the left leg to the sky. As you shift the weight forward, bringing the shoulders over the wrist, step that left foot between the hands. Lower the right knee down, untap the toes, and inhale, sweep the arm forwards and up, coming into your low crescent lunge. And as the body awakens, as the body becomes a little bit more warm, maybe you find yourself moving a little bit deeper into these postures. Exhale, frame that front foot, tuck the back toes under, step to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, gaze forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding. Inhale, root to rise, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, your hands back down to heart center. Inhale, bend the knees deeply. Come to find your Utkatasana chair pose, everyone's favorite, I know. Think about drawing the shins towards the back of the room so the weight comes in towards the heel. And then we're tucking the tailbone down as we draw the navel in towards the spine to lengthen through the back. And soften the shoulders away from the ears. If this is too much on your shoulders, you can cactus the arms or bring them together at heart center. We're going to stay here for 3, for 2, for 1. Exhale, hands to mat, folding forward. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, step the right foot back, followed by the left. Option here to lower the knees as we did before, or option to move through your full Chaturanga Dandasana, bending the elbows to 90 degrees. Inhale, roll over the toes, thighs lifted for upward facing dog, or coming into your baby cobra as before. As you exhale, shift the hips up and back, arriving at our downward facing dog. From here, slowly walking yourself all the way to the back of the mat. Again, seeing if you can feel and be present to the journey of that transition. Interlace the hands behind the small of the back. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, fold over the legs. And use your breath to fold a little bit deeper and draw the arms a little bit further over the head. At the same time, creating space between the shoulders and the ears. Release the grip of the hands. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And as you exhale slowly, consciously transition back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the top of the mat. Exhale, step or float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Sweep the arms overhead. And then if you can, seeing if you can relax the muscles around the eyes and soften the jaw. Bring your hands together at heart center. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, twisting to the right, taking the left elbow outside the right thigh. We have a tendency here to splay the hips from side to side. So look down and check that your knees are still in line with one another. And then use your bottom hand to push into the top hand to help you find that twist. Look down at your big right toe mound and see if you can pick up that left foot. And then see if you can sweep that left leg all the way behind you, moving nice and slowly. There's no rush. Stepping it, arriving into your high twisted crescent lunge. If this is too much for you, feel free to lower that back knee down. Wherever you are, finding length from the sole of that left foot all the way out through the crown of the head. And we have a tendency to drop into this left shoulder. So see if you can really engage to the core, keep yourself nice and lifted. As you inhale, sweep the arms overhead, come into your high crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. So this nice long wide stance between the feet, finding either a heel to heel or heel to arch alignment, and then pressing into the outer edge of that back foot, bending a little bit deeper into that front knee. Steady the gaze over that middle right finger. And as you inhale, slowly straighten that front leg. Maybe you need to heel toe the back foot in a little bit. And then reach that right arm as far forwards as you can. And then tinging from the hips, bring that right hand down to the right shin. Sweep the left hand up to the sky. Scissoring the inner thighs towards one another, as if you're trying to draw the feet together. And then lengthening through the left side of the body as well. From here, slightly bend that front knee. If you have a block, this is where it might come in handy. We're moving into our half moon. So keeping that exact same posture that you had in your triangle, we're slightly bending that right knee and then picking up the back leg as we transition into our half moon. So we're stacking the hips on top of one another, the shoulders on top of one another, and then really active through that lifted leg, active through the hands. Imagine that you're kicking that standing leg into an imaginary wall behind you. We'll stay here for 3, for 2, for 1. Rebend that front leg. How mindfully, slowly can you step it towards the back of the mat and find your reverse warrior, inhaling. So reaching up and then back. So we're thinking more about stretching through the right side of the body. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands to frame the front foot. Step back, lower down through your choice of vinyasa. Knowing you can skip it completely, and we'll meet all together in our downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Exhale, step or float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, Utkatasana. Can you sink those hips a little bit deeper? Really nice. Bring your hands together at heart center. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, twisting to the left, hook the right elbow outside the left thigh. Again, checking that the knees are in line with one another. And then finding this line of energy from the tailbone, the sit bone, to the crown of the head. Look down at that big left toe mat, picking up the right foot. See if you can slowly, it's okay to wobble, step that foot all the way to the back of the mat, moving slowly, transitioning with conscious, and then coming to arrive in your high twisted crescent lunge. Again, option to lower that back knee if you need. Otherwise, trying wherever you are, bringing the hands to the heart center. So you're really lifting through the chest, lengthening through both sides of the body. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, arriving in your high lunge. Coming as high onto the balls of the back toes as you can. And exhale, open out to your warrior two. Softening the shoulders away from the ears. And then this time imagine that you can rip the mat or pull the mat apart with the feet. So you're really actively engaged through the bottom, lower half of the body. Inhale, slowly straighten that front leg. Maybe adjust the back foot. And then reach that left arm as far forward as you can, slightly tucking the left hips under. Bring that left hand down to the shin. And then sweep the right arm up to the sky. Spiral the chest open. Again, finding length through both sides of the body. And sensing this energy running from the right fingertips down through the chest and out the left fingertips. As we transition into our half moon, again you might like to find your block. Bend that left knee slightly, and keeping everything else the same. Float that right leg away from the mat. So you're really grounding through that left big toe mount. The back foot is active and flexed. You're pressing into that hand onto the block or the mat to help you lift up and out of the posture. Stay here for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly and mindfully transition into the back of the mat, finding your reverse warrior. Sweep the left arm up and over. Exhale, hands to mat. Step back, high plank. Lower down through your choice of vinyasa, or skip it completely, meeting together in our downward facing dog. And letting go of any judgments or evaluations about your practice so far. Keep coming back to enjoying every moment, every breath, every movement, every transition, every posture. Again, slowly walk yourself towards the back of the mat. This time, take your 2 peace fingers around the 2 big toes, capping it off with the thumb. As you inhale, lift and lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, fold over the legs. And if you find that your chest is really far away from the thighs, bend the knees here. There's often a big myth in yoga that we have to lock out our joints and have these really straight legs, but the purpose of this posture is to really stretch through the back of the body. And then use your inhales to create length and space. And your exhales to fold a little deeper into that posture. Inhale, release the grip, and walk yourself back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, foot the right leg to the sky. Exhale again, slowly shifting the weight over the shoulders as we find our pigeon. Bringing the right knee behind the right wrist, the right foot behind the left wrist. And then sliding the left toes as back as you can. And this traditional alignment might be very uncomfortable on your knee, on your hips, might not even be possible. So if that's the case, simply draw the foot in a little bit closer towards the body. As we inhale, lift the chest, find length through the spine. And as we exhale, we mindfully slowly fold. And at this point in practice where we begin to wind down, it's common for our minds to become busy and active, thinking about the day ahead. And so if that's the case for you today, let's continue with practice of coming back into this moment, coming back to the physical sensations in the body, that deep yogic breath. And slowly beginning to lift yourself back up, pressing into the hands, tuck the back toes under. And we'll hug that right knee in towards the chest, holding it for 3, for 2, for 1. Sweep that right leg up and back. Bend the knee, open the hip, and really feel the sensations, feel the movement, the different parts of the body that are being stretched, that are working. Bring the foot back down to meet the left. Option to stay where you are and take 3 deep breaths, or option to move through a vinyasa. There's no right, there's no wrong, simply honouring the body, listening to what your body needs in this moment. And together, inhale, foot that left leg to the sky. As we shift the weight forward slowly, transitioning into our pigeon. Bringing the left knee behind the left wrist, and then sliding that right leg behind. And it's natural that this might feel very different to how it felt on the other side, or look very different, so that's okay. And then inhale to prepare, finding length through the spine. And exhale, folding yourself forwards. We have a tendency to fling ourselves into postures without taking the preparation or thinking about what we're doing. So by moving slowly like we have today, we're really building strength in the muscles, as well as creating this awareness to our practice. Awareness to the muscles that are involved, the little subtle adjustments within each posture, getting the alignment. And inhale, lifting yourself back up. Press into the hands, tuck the back toes under, and then hug that left knee into the chest for 3, for 2, for 1. Sweep the leg up and back. Bend the knee, open the hips. And exhale, downward facing dog. Option to move through your final vinyasa, or stay where you are, taking those 3 conscious breaths, really observing the breath in the back of the body, the side of the body, the front of the body. lower the knees down. Shift the hips to one side. Sweep the legs out in front of you. We'll come into our boat pose. So a few variations that we can take here. But to begin, again, thinking about slowly moving into our posture so we're really getting that correct alignment. Bring your hands underneath the thighs, in between the knees. And then draw the chest towards the thighs. So you're getting that straight and strong spine. You're really sitting onto those sit bones. You can stay here if this is enough for you today. Otherwise, you can reach the legs out in front of you. Options to stay here supporting the legs, or reach the arms out in front. We'll stay here for 5 counts. I'm doing it with you, I know it's a real challenge, but keep lifting that chest for 5, for 4, feel the core get shaky for 3, for 2, for 1, amazing. Bring your feet hip width distance apart, reach the arms out in front of you, and slowly lower yourself down, 1 vertebrae at a time. So again, we're moving mindfully, slowly, transitioning with pure awareness, feeling every single vertebra as it makes contact with the mat beneath us. Extend the arms overhead. And then bring the feet a little bit closer towards you. Maybe you can get the fingers to gently touch the heels. We're going to move into 2 bridges. I'll give you a few variations. If you have the brick with you and you want to come into something a little bit more restorative, you can place the brick underneath the sacrum and come to rest here for the 2 variations. Bear in mind that there are 3 settings on this brick, so finding the one that is most comfortable for you today. Otherwise, I'll guide you through 1 bridge and then 1 wheel. You're more than welcome to take a combination of the options that I've given you. So starting off with our bridge, separating the feet hip width distance apart, and then pressing into the feet, tuck the tailbone, and then peel away the low, the mid, the upper back. Hug the shoulders in towards one another and interlace the fingers behind the small of the back. Then pressing into the feet, into the shoulders, you can lift the hips a little bit higher. And then allow a little bit of a space between the chin and the chest. And then engaging through the glutes, through the inner thighs. We'll stay here for 3, for 2, for 1. Slow as you can. Releasing yourself all the way back down to the mat. Nice. And then letting the legs sway from side to side like car windshield wipers. As we move into our second round, I'll be guiding you through a wheel, but feel free to come into that restorative option I gave, the bridge that we've just done, or you can follow me. Pressing into the feet, engaging through the quads and the thighs, the glutes. Begin to peel away the low, the mid, the upper back. Bring your hands to behind your shoulders, fingers facing towards the top of the mat or the heels, and pressing into the hands, coming onto the crown of the head. And this might be where you stay, just working on building strength in the arms. Otherwise, begin to lift yourself up. Keep pressing into the feet, into the hands, and then drawing the chest towards the back of the mat. Relax the head and the neck. We'll stay here for 3, for 2, for 1. Slowly lower yourself down, bringing the crown of the head to the mat. And then releasing the upper, the mid, the low back. Again, windshield wipe the legs side to side. And then coming into a half happy baby, extend the left leg long along the mat. And then take your right hand either to the outside edge of that right foot, to the toe, or taking hold of the calf or behind the thigh, whatever you can reach, whatever is comfortable in your body. And then imagine drawing that knee down towards the elbow. Maybe it feels nice to slightly rock the hips from side to side. And then take that left hand onto the right knee. Draw the knee over towards the left, coming into a supine twist to close. Extending the right arm by your side, maybe reaching it overhead. And the invitation here is to close the eyes and keep them closed the rest of my practice. Inhale, come back to center. Hug both knees into the chest, drawing the knees towards the heart space. And then extending the right leg along the mat, finding your half happy baby on the left hand side again. Taking the same grip that you took on the other side, unless you're working with any injuries. Again, maybe it feels nice for a little bit of movement. And then take that right hand onto the left knee, draw it over towards the right. Extending the left arm long or overhead. Inhale, come back to center, give yourself a big squeeze. Make yourself into a tiny little ball, extend some gratitude to this practice. Take a deep breath in, and then release. Let the legs go long, let the arms go wide. Scan through the body, allowing each and every part to soften and relax. There's nothing for you to manage, nothing for you to fix or solve. Allow yourself to enjoy this moment of being, this moment of rest, stillness in our busy lives. And giving yourself the permission to stay here as long as you like. Otherwise wiggling your fingers and your toes, letting each movement be mindful, enjoying this moment of reawakening. And the arms overhead as you take this nourishing full body stretch. Hug the knees into the chest without rushing. In your own time, make your way to a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands together at heart center. May you continue to transition through the rest of your day and week with focus, with purpose, enjoying the little moments. Namaste. Amazing work, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon on the mat.